Of course, there was the house here. Over here, there's a trailer house now, but there used to be a southern mansion-looking thing on top of the knoll there. There was up the Walnut Camp. There was a house there. There was another one up under what's now that reservoir up there. The one there at Walnut Camp, that was Pierce and Robson had that. And Robson was a seaman. And he'd been in Spain and stuff like that and seen all the olive orchards. And so he's the one that planted the olive orchard.
Really?
Yeah. And I have artifacts from that house.
What year was the olive orchard again? About
It would probably be up turn of the century, would be my guess, timing-wise. I don't have numbers on it, but he was in there at that time. And then we bought the ranch from them. It wasn't a lot of production. A lot of brush actually, but I'm not sure the details, but we ended up buying that ranch from them and the house and everything. And I have an old high chair that dates out of the 1880s with caning for the seat and everything, and 3 captain's chairs and a ship barometer that came from them. So I have some of those artifacts. They're not something I brought with me, so barometer pulled it down. Those stuff's too big to move. But anyway, they were there. Don't know if there was people camping and stuff farther up at times. Bee camp. I've got a picture of bee camp, and there was bees in there at one time. In fact, Lee Payne, which is Payne married one of the daughters that you saw there. And they had the Payne Ranch down below here. He ran bees up there, and I got pictures of bees at bee camp. So it actually happened.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Just to give them a little perspective, the Payne Ranch is what we call the Wrens now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know where that
Yeah.
talking about that was.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of names that when we start tracing them back, that, oh, that's a relative.
Yeah.
And that's some of that stuff that Chess Whitten bought. Yeah. Give you a little more on Chess Whitten. He obviously came to California with Fremont. In 1845, he was in California. Fremont broke his group into 2 groups. Over on the Nevada side, part of the group went with him across Immigrant Gap in December, which a few years later the Donner Party found that that was a foolish thing to do. But he went across to Sutter's Fort. He handpicked about 15 guys to go with him. The rest of the group came down the eastern Sierras to Indian Wells Rally and came across Walker's Pass to Lake Isabella area and across. At this time, I'm not sure which group my great-great-grandfather was in. Family lore says he went right to Sutter's Fort. And there are some records, if I can find them, Sutter and some others, and he had to get visas for everybody from the Mexican government. And they're someplace, who knows. I haven't been able to find that, but the family lore is that he went with Fremont. And he ended up in those types of groups more than once, of the hand-picked group he was in. When they came across the desert, they came through what's now Salt Lake City area and so on. They came across the south end of Salt Lake, and they were the first white group to cross the desert there south of Salt Lake. It later became known as the Hastings Cutoff. But at that time they crossed there, and they asked all the Native Americans they found and everybody there, and nobody had ever done that. It was a big, long, dry stretch. And so what they did is they took a group of about 4 or 5 of them, provisioned up with a lot of water, and they sent them off across with the word to get across there, and if you find water, build a big bonfire. And then that evening, he took his group out onto the lake, onto that dry salt flat a ways, and waited. And sure enough, there was this fire, and they went on across. The next night, they camped at a spring in Nevada. And in Fremont's notes, he said, and I named the spring Whitten after one of my men. So we know he was there. And so they explored down through there, and then we don't know which way he went. In that group of men was Kit Carson and all of those characters. It was an interesting group. But he came to California, And he met with the Mexican government, got approval to be here for a little while. And he needed provisions, he needed fresh horses and new shoes, white leather and all that type of stuff. And said that he would be leaving. Well, shortly after that, Castro, who was one of the two governors of California, were debating who was going to be the governor. He was governor of California. Sent word to Fremont to get out of California right now. And that's when the incident occurred on Fremont. And so they went up on Fremont Peak, spent a couple of days, and they were getting word back and forth of what was going on. And they knew the Mexicans were coming in with cannons and stuff like that, and they wouldn't fare very well against the cannon. So they finally decided they would leave. Their leaving came out through here. This seat here. So they came out through here and camped under this big oak. And then they left, went into the valley, went up north, all the way in Oregon, up Klamath Lake, Oregon. And at that point, a American Marine caught up with them with letters from the president. And this guy, he left Washington with these letters, sailed to Veracruz, and this being American, when things were pretty shaky, went across Mexico to the west coast, picked up a boat from there, went to Hawaii, got another boat to San Francisco, got a horse there, rode to Sodisport, and found out he missed Fremont. Followed him, caught him at Klamath Lake, and handed him these letters. Nobody knows what was in the letters, but Fremont immediately turned around and came back to California. So something from the president told him to get back. And shortly after that, the Bear Flag Revolt happened over in Napa County, and he wasn't part of that. But Castro didn't like that very much and vowed to wipe everybody out. And he was on his way there when Fremont intervened. And in intervening, he met up with American sea captains, Commodore Sloat and Commodore Stockton, met a bunch of ships also. And they combined the Marines that were on those ships with Fremont's group, including this Marine caught up with them, and that became the California Battalion who captured California during the Mexican War. So just a little bit of history. So he was involved in that. We know that after they did that, they put together a note to send to the president that says, oh, by the way, we captured California. And Kit Carson was put in charge of that group, and he handpicked about 15 guys to go with him. And my great-great-grandfather was one of those. And so they took off to the president and was intercepted by Kearney in New Mexico. And he was furious to find out he hated Fremont anyway, and to find out that Fremont won California. He wanted to win California for a feather in his cap, and he was furious. And he took this stuff away from Kit Carson and ordered Kit Carson to lead him back to California. Nothing much is said about the rest of the men who were with him. But about 10 months later, one of these girls was born. And her name was Callie, California. So we know he made it back home. My next reference I have to him is in 1850, he shows up in Napa County in the census.